Welcome to this week's Ref Show. We are on location today at the Hallam Sports Park for the start of the Youdan Trophy. With me today, Keith Hackett and Paul McGuinness. Keith, the start of another Youdan Trophy. 40 teams are going to be here for this year's competition. Just give us a flavour of what we can expect this week.
Well, I think the very first thing you can expect is some outstanding football. These teams, even though they're under 14, under 16 age, there's some real star players. There's some talent for the future. They're well organised. We've now into our third year, and every year we've just been absolutely amazed at the quality of the games. From our perspective, of course, we also use the tournament to bring in referees from around the world. We've got New Zealand, South America, we've got Canada, Middle East, Estonia. We've got a mix of referees, and they come in and they are truly trained and coached extremely well, you know, by our experts around the field. The Halses, the Dilks, Glenn Turner, and all these people, Guy Beale, have all had international experience or Premier League experience, and they're passing on their skill sets to those referees. So it's this two-part thing: quality of games, competitive environment. For the young kids who are coming from overseas, it's probably sometimes the first time that they're out of their country, and it's the first time the coaches then have this chance not only to see them and watch them play, but also see them in the environment of how do they deal with being away from home, how they cope, discipline and all those sort of things.
Yeah, and it can be a character experience as well, Paul, can't it? You know, the teams that have come from abroad, these are 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds who are experiencing this for the first time. Plus, it's a big opportunity for them to come and play different teams from all over the world, you know, and have that sort of overall experience of competition football.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask me, well, what can we do to improve English football, and how can we get better players? How can we win the World Cup? And one of the biggest things is to have more tournaments, to get more tournament experience. I do a lot of reading around education and how people learn. There's a book called Visible Learning by John Hattie, a guy from Australia. And in that, he looks at all the really important ways people learn that affect education: size of classes, teacher training, homework, anything at all. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest things that affects most successful things for learning is outward bound courses. And in football's equivalent, the tournament is the outward bound course. You're out of your normal environment. You've got to think quickly. You've got to learn quickly. There's lots of new things. You've got to work with all your teammates on and off the field. There's loads of new experiences, which mean it's like a very, very intense shot of learning. It's one of the best things you can do.
And the young players are going to get a big benefit out of it, Keith. And, you know, experiencing competition for football for them is important, but how important is it as well for referees to have this kind of experience as they're sort of going through their refereeing careers?
Well, I mean, I think that it acts as, if you like, a booster for them to work with former international referees. And for those referees to say, this is what we've achieved, they've seen that we've been around the world and we've refereed these big games. So it sets an incentive, but we also can look at, in certain areas, the fitness, the training. You know, we've got Dr. Matt Weston, who's probably one of the world's leading sports scientists dealing with referees, specialising in referees. He's involved with us. So they're getting the fitness training side of things, the coaching side, and then it continues because all these guys are members of the Referees Academy, so they're in contact with us daily. So we don't just lose them, but they come to the tournament, they get that experience, and then they know who we are, and they can contact us. And through things like Ref Call, we're able to give them a flavour, an answer to a question that they probably don't want to ask other people. And so the package is massive. Individually, every game that they referee is filmed. So on some occasions, it's the first time that they're actually seeing themselves refereeing through video. And then they've probably got somebody like Mark Halsey and others on the shoulder, sort of giving them post-match advice. So it's instant, it's you know, we're not overly critical. We know that they're in their development stage, but you know, in the past we've had links with New Zealand. We've got 2 New Zealand referees and the head of referee in New Zealand, Ken Wallace, who's been there for years and brought referees through into the internationals and into World Cup in tournaments. And so we're able to take his expertise this week and bring that to the fore.
Paul, we're here at the Hallam Sports Park. Games will also be taking place at Warminster Road. What do you make of the venue?
The venue looks fantastic, you know, in an ideal way around the central hub of the building, and people all around it, the pitches around it look fantastic. And I think this is a big important step for youth players to play in an environment like this. But tournaments with all that they bring, the extra competition, the knockout basis of it, the more importance of every game as it goes on is vital both for the players and for referees. And going back to, you know, older referees helping young ones, I was in the Dallas Cup we won it in 1988, and we had for our first game Abraham Klein, the World Cup referee from 1970, and I was a bit gobsmacked. I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. He's been on the same pitch as Pele, Jairzinho and all that, and he's refereeing these young kids, and he's got 2 young assistants. Now that is fantastic for their development. But then also I think of the Youth Cup, another tournament, knockout tournament, the most prestigious in England. We had Mark Clattenburg when he was a young referee our final against Liverpool. We had Michael Oliver referee our final against Sheffield United, and he had some really quite difficult decisions in some of those games as well. So that was all a step up for them, you know, 20-odd thousand, 35,000 a big game was a step for them at the right time. So both for the players and for the referees, it's a simulation of first team football. And that's what you want with tournaments. They have a league game and so on, but you have one game after the next, after the next. It's almost like if they have 6 games in a tournament, it's like a title running. You've got to win every game's important. And that puts more pressure on the young referees, which is exactly what they need. You know, they need to experience that type of pressure, make mistakes, but then recover quickly for the next game, learn the lessons.
We can see already teams having a look around the venue, Keith, but there are some big clubs here this year, aren't there?
Incredible. Well, we've got Manchester United. We have teams from the Middle East, two top teams, Japanese teams. So we've got a huge mix. And of course, we've got Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. I'm particularly interested to see how they're developing their youth. The other thing about this tournament is that off-field, they all stay at the edge. So every player has got his own individual room, ensuite. They dine in the main hall, so there's teams can enjoy conversation, and they dine with the referees as well. So they can probably see that referees are human and have an interaction.
It's a novel concept, isn't it, Keith?
Yeah, absolutely. But all those aspects that when you actually start to analyse them, come in and help the player and help the referee.
And sort of bonding and sort of spending time around, you know, different players and different teams, Paul, how important is that going to be to these
It's absolutely essential. In fact, it gives you a massive uplift when you go on a tournament, especially if you go abroad. I made some fantastic contacts. Michel Reschke from Bayer Leverkusen, we then did player exchanges and coach exchanges after meeting them in Dallas. Inter Milan had 3 or 4 times where I went to conferences there. The German coach from Schalke, who's had Ozil and lots of top players. You're learning all the time. It's an opportunity to learn. But also I think for the referees, where you're saying we've got foreign referees coming here, it's vital that our referees get the chance to go to foreign tournaments. By going abroad, you're learning a lot. For players, we came to a stage where I said, we can't win any of these tournaments. You know, it's bloody referees, they're bloody cheating us, they're this, they're that. That's how, and we sat down and said, hang on a minute, they're not cheating us. They just got a different interpretation in their country. And these guys who we would see are cheating, they think it's just being clever, these players. So we started a whole new idea of, right, we're going to set a load of aims for the tournament that aren't to do with winning. You don't know if you're going to win the tournament, but we can know, well, what's our reaction to the referees? What's our reaction to simulation? What's our reaction to certain situations? And I think in the same way, by going abroad, our referees, young referees, can get a theme or look at particular things that they know will come up abroad that they don't get here, that can be really good for their learning. It's like an intense shot again. You know they're going to come up. You know there's maybe going to be more diving. You know it's going to be a different reaction from the players. Therefore, it's great if the referees can go abroad. I would take them away. If you've got any English teams going abroad, take a referee with you for the tournament as well. Would be a good idea.
Well, we're here at the Hallam Sports Park. It is the start of the Youdan Trophy this week. Keith Hackett and Paul McGuinness with us for the Ref Show. More football talk on the way in part 2.